Hey, what's up YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives on another Multi-Tool Monday. And what is this? I finally got the Leatherman Charge. Yes, this has been out for a long time. I looked up a lot of videos on this. The oldest videos were about 8 years old. So, wow, this has been out a long time. Why did I just get it now? Actually, I got this as a Christmas present to myself, because my relatives don't really know about cutlery or multi-tools, so I can't rely on them to for that in that regard. All right, so before we discuss it, let's just do an overview of every tool on this multi-tool. The Charge has 4 longer tools which can be accessed with the tool closed. It has a plain edge blade that's 154 cm steel. It's got a fully serrated blade that's 420HC steel. It's got a wood saw, and it has a metal file. And all 4 of those tools lock in place. All right, they have little liner locks there. And of course the pliers. Now the pliers have the wire cutting portion, all right, and they have a wire stripping portion, the wider gripping portion, all right, and the more precise gripping portion. And the smaller tools, we have a large flathead screwdriver. We have the micro screwdriver, which can reverse, so it's flathead or a Phillips. We've got the mini scissors. All right, this right here is a bottle opener and a can opener, and it's got a cutter notch right there. And this is the bit driver with removable bits that are double-sided. And this also came with these other double-sided bits that fit in the bit driver. Now all of these smaller tools lock in place with this lock right here, one on each. It's a lever. You see that? It locks into a little notch on the tool. So that tool set, is it missing anything? Is it missing any major tool? Well, I'll give you a hint. There's no reamer awl. You know, and then you might say, well, maybe Leatherman just doesn't think a reamer or awl is important. Well, I mean, if that were the case, then why do they put one on some of their other tools? Now, the scissors are tiny. That's why I'm calling them mini scissors. They're still useful for some things, but basically in order to fit the 4 longer tools, they had to shrink the scissors down and put them, you know, in the end. The same thing they did with the Wave, right? The Wave has little tiny scissors, right? Compare those scissors to the big scissors on the Surge. You know, one thing I noticed with this, both of the blades are one-handed opening, but the other long tools are not. Whereas with the Surge, you can actually open the file saw, you know, with your thumb, right, with your other hand, and you can even open the scissors with your other hand, one-handed. So I do think they should find a way to make all 4 of the long tools one-handed opening. Now, one drawback of this Charge compared to the Surge or the Super Tool 300, the larger tools have replaceable wire cutters, right, and this does not. Other observations about the tool set, I really think the large screwdriver is kind of the weak point, the expendable part of this tool set. Because if you look at it, it's no wider than the base of one of the bits. So they could have just given you a bit that was as wide as this. Maybe they would have made it like a single-sided bit or whatever, but they could have given you a bit to replace this. Now, I realize some people use this as a pry tool, but Leatherman does not call it a pry tool. So that's not why Leatherman has it on there. And 2, you know, it's flat because it's a screwdriver. It's flat there. A pry tool, you know, will be more at an angle so that you can get it under things to pry with. So it's not an ideal pry tool. And just to test out the blade, I like that. I like that. It's as sharp as a good knife. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. They did an excellent job on the edge of that 154 cm blade. You know, one thing I would like to see added to this, and also to these others, would be the hammer surface that's on the Leatherman Signal. I don't know why they only have the hammer thing on their outdoorsy multi-tool, when like a hammer surface would be useful for all kinds of multi-tools. I mean, not just the outdoors, you know. So yeah, maybe, I know it would make it longer, you know, it would basically make this the length of the Surge. But I don't care. I mean, something to hammer with is just darn useful. Now this charge also comes with a removable pocket clip. You see that pocket clip? You can just push it off if you undo the lock. You can push it off. This charge also came with this cool belt pouch. You see the belt straps there. It's got Velcro, a Velcro overflap. Fits in nicely. It's also got storage behind that for your bits. And it can also hold 2 items on the sides. I have a Surefire flashlight, and I have a little box cutter, just so that I don't have to pull out my whole multi-tool just to like open a package or something. You should know that there's 3 different models, right? This is the Charge AL. It's got aluminum handle scales. There's also a Charge that has titanium handle scales. And the titanium one also has an S30V blade instead of a 154 cm blade. And there's another one called the Charge ALX that's basically similar to this, except the pliers have a crimper on them, and instead of the mini scissors, it has no scissors and a second bit driver. Now another difference between this Charge and the 2 other Charge models, the serrated blade. This is the only one where the serrated blade just has, you know, a normal spine. The other 2 models have added a seatbelt cutter on like the spine of the serrated blade. As you can see right here in this Leatherman diagram, the other model of the Charge, the titanium, that's what the serrated blade looks like. It's got like a seatbelt cutter on the end, on the spine side of the serrated blade. First of all, I don't like belt cutters on just a regular multi-tool. If you're selling a multi-tool as like a first responder multi-tool or a paramedics multi-tool, then fine, you can put the rescue stuff on. I also don't like rescue tools on the spine of a blade because, you know, if you're trapped in a burning car, you might be in a hurry. Oh, sorry if you hear birds. A bird was going crazy outside. But I mean, if you're trapped in a burning car, you know, you might not be in your right frame of mind. What if you open this but it doesn't lock? You don't make sure it locks. Now you're pulling against this, and there's a good chance you're going to close it, especially with the force that you're pulling, because, you know, your car's about to explode. Now this model, the AL, is the least expensive of the Charges. Current price on Amazon is about $140. Whereas the titanium model is up there around $170. And if you get the titanium model with all the accessories, it's almost $200. You know, I gotta be honest, this is an expensive multi-tool. Like, not only compared to the competition, but even compared to a lot of other Leathermans. For the people that just want to know why the heck it's more expensive than a lot of other Leathermans, mainly you're just paying for the blade steel. The 154 cm blade steel, that's what you'd expect on a pretty nice quality knife. So mainly you're paying for that blade steel. And on the titanium version, you're also paying for the titanium. And you might be wondering, you know, is it worth it to get this instead of the Wave when they're quite similar, you know, except for the material on the blade? Well, you know, like with most things, you start paying more and more for smaller and smaller improvements. So I would say if you buy the Wave, you're never going to be like, oh damn, I'm going to die because I have the Wave instead of the Charge. It's never going to come down to those little differences. So if you don't want to spend that much, then, you know, it's not essential. Okay, so let's sum this up. Let's do pro and con. The good parts: comes with a pocket clip, that's good. Comes with several bits, gives you flexibility. One-handed opening on both of the blades. It's a little bit lighter than the Wave. And you're getting a blade steel that you would normally get in a pretty high quality folder. Okay, and the drawbacks, or at least things that you need to know. It has scissors, but the scissors are really tiny. It does not have an awl reamer. The wood saw and the metal file cannot be opened one-handed, like on the Surge. It does not have replaceable wire cutters, like on the larger tools. And the dedicated large flathead is kind of inefficient and could have just been something else. And the last drawback would simply be the price. It's pricey, not only compared to competitors, but even compared to other Leathermans. And my thoughts on the price, it does give you stuff for that increased price, but if you choose one of the other Leathermans, you're not going to be missing out on like a huge amount of performance. You know, if you choose the Wave or even the rebar. So yeah, I mean, it just depends how much you want to spend.